All right, so let's get Mrs. Lee's impression on the new speakers. We just got done watching F1. What did you think?
It was amazing. The sound was top notch. Yeah, it was way better than the other speakers that we had before. I was able to hear all the wind.
Hey, what's up guys? Today we're doing a quick little video on a home theater upgrade. But the first thing I want to talk about really quick, what I got in the works. You guys might notice this little guy right here. This is the Valerian Max. This is Valerian's best projector. And I will say that this is maybe the best long throw DLP projector in this price class. I believe this is like $5,000. And I've seen a bunch of projectors this year. So this is a winner as far as DLP projectors, and this barely has any rainbow effect. So barely any RBE, because they actually have a setting that will kind of eliminate RBE, or at least kind of tone it down. So first time I've ever seen that feature that's in here. And as you can see, I am filming it because I am using my camera. This is all set up. But the other big thing that I have working on right now that I've finished is this guy up here. This is my now completed, it's like 98% completed Hushbox. You can see that I've got two lens openings here. One is for the Sony Projector 8. This one here is for my 3D projector, which is the BenQ XW6100es. Not the best 3D projector, but it does a pretty good job. So what I have going on here is totally sealed off. This is just a little cover plate to match the rest of the wall, so it's all fabric. So that side's sealed off. There's a little exhaust fan on that side which blows air into that empty space there. Then on this opposite side here, where my mini split is, where it's blowing cold air out, I have an intake on this side. So it sucks the cold air in from the mini split, and then it blows it out the opposite side. So it keeps everything typically around 68 degrees Fahrenheit inside the box. So before I had this, you would always hear the fans blowing on either projector. Wouldn't matter, Sony or the BenQ. Be just really annoying. That's the only thing that you would hear if you were watching something that was quiet, like A Quiet Place or anything like that. So if it was non-action, you would always hear that. So this is now completed. Actually, the other thing that I want to talk about are these guys here. I still am rocking the 1212 SLs, as I like to refer to them as the 1212 Shane Lees from RBH. When I did my initial review on these, I had these up on stands so that they were elevated mid-wall. But I find that since my riser is about 20 inches from the floor to the ground, I've got these on little risers themselves. So this puts it not quite mid-wall, but pretty close to the midpoint wall. And it sounds great on here. It gives a nice tactile feedback on the riser up to the first floor or the second row. And then with the amount of bass that comes out from the 21 behind the screen, you do get, despite this being a concrete slab with some OSB on the floor, you get a lot of great tactile bass. So great tactile bass from these for the second row guys, and then the 21 fills out the rest for the front row. So these are still here, these are still rocking. But the other real big update was ever since that I had reviewed the RBH 821s, which had the dual 8-inch woofers and then the much bigger 1x5-inch AMT tweeter, these have now replaced almost all of my 661s that I previously had here before. So when I did that first home theater tour back in, January 2024, these are now replaced my entire bed layer. So if you missed that review for the 821s, that's on the channel. I did that review based on only having LCRs because I didn't have the surrounds in yet. Because I wasn't sure if I would really need something this big on the wall, because I was really happy with the 661s. One thing that I had mentioned in that review for the 661 is that, because I had crossed them over at like 60 hertz, 70 hertz, whatever. I know you're supposed to go at like 80 hertz, but I kind of like that extra mid bass when I dropped it down to about 60, 65. Unfortunately, during certain movies, Terminator, more recently, the Fantastic Four First Steps, when the bass drops low enough, since the drivers were so small and it was a sealed enclosure, that thing had phase plugs in the drivers. The air would rush out of the phase plug, make a crazy sizzling noise, which would always just draw your attention away from the movie. And I always hated that. So I voiced some complaints to RBH, And then we came up with possibly going all 821s all around. So I did have to give those back. These are on loan right now. And when I'm done with these will go back as well. So if you guys are thinking I get these for free, no, I don't, because these have to go back. But I am going to be auditioning these for the next few months or so. These, again, if you missed that review, dual 8-inch, 1x5 AMT tweeter or AMT. So I believe it's like 15-degree vertical dispersion. I'm not sure what the horizontal dispersion is, maybe 45 or so. But these will play down, well, the whole speaker will play down to like 55 hertz up to 35K. So really great detail. And this is probably like the biggest difference here is this tweeter. I like the one by one tweeter on the 661s, but this is just several steps above that one. This is, I don't know if you guys remember when I had the Ascendo speakers, but with those coaxial speakers, you really got some laser sharp pinpoint imaging. These still aren't quite as razor sharp or pinpoint as the Ascendos, but this is way closer than what was on the 661s. So when I was watching, I think it was Ready Player One for the 250th time, there's the part after Kong destroys the bridge, and then the girl character and then the female character, they're outside. I think the car, the DeLorean, no, the motorcycle just got done getting smashed up, and you can hear as the camera pans backwards that I think the motor starts to stop or something. And then you can hear it in the background as the camera pans back. The motorcycle goes from back all the way slowly up to the front stage, and that sounded so different. Like I had not heard that part before sound so clear, almost like it was actually in my room. Like it sounded decent, it sounded really good on the 661s and the other speakers that I've had in the past, but this was so noticeable. I haven't really, without having to hear it, I heard it, if that makes sense. So the tweeters on these are just so much better. And of course, Fantastic Four or Terminator Genesis, every time something would hit an explosion or something like that, I no longer get that bottoming out of the 6.5 inchers. These things just don't bottom out. I got these crossed at like 60 hertz, so I'm getting really great mid bass out of these. When I was watching, I really noticed it when I was watching Weapons the other night. I had initially watched it on the 661s, and I watched it again 2 nights ago when I did the Lingdorf review. I heard it again after I put the Trino back in, and the amount of mid bass that was coming out of my front stage is amazing sounding. It just, the 661s just can't hit that hard. The mid bass just didn't have that weightiness. It was really kind of thin sounding. As much as I praise those speakers, after you move up to something a lot bigger, it really makes a big difference. And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to upgrade to 821s. And again, having these guys here, like when I had mentioned, since upgrading these surround speakers during Ready Player One and Quiet Place, all of our kind of demo movies, I mean, these things really rock. And as far as like mounting these, I did keep the old mounts, those little small mounts. I think they're from US Mount. They're pretty cheap. They're like 26 bucks. In order to get these mounted, I did build a back plate on these. So it's just like a piece of MDF. No, I think it's a quarter piece of plywood. So I kind of just shaped it out to the entire box, 1/4 inch. There are 300, no, I think it's 400 by 400 VESA mount in the back. So I affixed the mounting sheet to this, and then I used my old mounts, which is a 100 by 100 VESA mount, and I screwed that to the mounting plate. So, so that would allow me to still use the swivel feature on this. And the way that I have my second set of surrounds is that I don't quite have it shooting directly at this guy sitting down. I actually have it pointed very slightly forward that way. So this way I still get some nice coverage this way because it does have wide horizontal dispersion. So I still get some nice coverage to this guy, also the opposite seat, but also I'm getting some coverage hitting the front row as well. And I did that for both rows. And that does kind of minimize the in your ear effect that this guy would get, and also on the other guy. So much more bass response. This hits way better than the 661s. Apologize if you bought the 661s because I told you to, but these are just way better. Sorry, but they're bigger speakers, so of course they're going to sound better. And just the detail all around the lower soundstage, winner. Now, these guys here, I still have the 661s for my top channel speakers. So when I was saying that the air would kind of bottom out and shoot through the port, through the face plug, that's where the air would kind of rush out of and make kind of like a sizzling sound. And obviously these little tweeters they're like half the size of what's on the 821s. So these will eventually be getting swapped out for the horizontal versions of the 821s, because you can get the 821s in different configurations. You can get them like this, you can get them in a deeper box, you can get them in horizontal configuration as a center channel, or if you want to keep the same volume of air that's in here, in this kind of layout, they'll take the tweeter, the 1x5, and then mount it upright, so that way you get some nice horizontal dispersion. Again, those will also go down a lot lower than these guys. These are, again, 55 hertz up to 35K. Same thing would happen on the top speakers. And by the way, if you have bass-capable speakers, watch the Fantastic Four First Steps. When Galactus first comes on screen, I think it's about 38 minutes, 17 seconds in the upper left-hand top front speaker, I don't know why they put that much bass in there, but there's plenty of bass in that movie. So check that out if you have some capable top channel speakers, which I know not a lot of you guys do, but check it out if you do. Or just turn off bass management and try it. Or just watch my video, watch my review. Anyways, that's the upgrade going on right now. I do plan on doing a full home theater tour when 2026 hits. So be on the lookout for that when everything is totally complete once again. The only thing that's going to change is the speakers. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll catch you in the next one.